We've been just listening to the music of Tickle Harbour. The song is Bruley, and joining us to talk about it is Don Walsh. Welcome, Don.
Hi, how you doing there?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Except for I had a late night at Bridget's last night, playing music and staying up till all hours. Other than that, pretty good.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, your second album is going to be released.
Right.
It's the first one in a long time.
10 years. Yeah.
What can we expect on this album?
Well, you can expect a variety of jigs and reels and mazurkas and klezmer music, waltzes, a whole assortment.
What sort of instruments are we going to
let me see. Well, we've got your basic traditional instruments like fiddles and tin whistles, but we also use the Irish concert flute, which is a wooden flute, and we're using an Appalachian dulcimer, hammer dulcimer, which is a stringed instrument with about 85 strings on it, which is you hit with hammers, and guitars. And
where does that originate from?
That's usually a bluegrass instrument, but the Scott Schiller, the member of the band, he made his own, and he plays it on the album. Lovely sounding instrument.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I understand this time, when you were producing or recording the music, it was a little different set of circumstances.
Yeah.
You have your own studio these days.
Yeah, the first album that we did in a day and a half. We recorded, mixed it, packaged it, and sent it off in a day and a half, because basically that was all the money that we had. And but this one's taken 2 years, so we took our time at this one, and the difference in the two albums certainly show, you know.
So you much rather have your own studio and sit back and...
Yeah, you don't have to worry about those huge, big studio time bills coming in.
When you sat back this time, you had to compose, you had to put the whole album together. What are some of the things that you had to take into consideration?
Well, you take, well, sets of tunes, you know, like when you're putting tunes together, you need to check what key it's in, and whether or not it's, once a tune finishes on an album cut, and then what's the next one coming after? Are they gonna jive, and is that all gonna fit into place? And not only that, you had to do that with the set of tunes, because with reels and jigs and reels, we usually take it and put like 3 reels together to make up one set. And so then you have to figure out, well, what keys are they all going to be in, and how are they going to jive and mix together? And the whole thing has to be sort of a full unit, you know. You can't have any jagged edges in there, so to speak, you know. So all that has to be thought of when you go at it.
So there's quite a bit of work involved.
Oh, yeah. We put there's a lot of hours that went into the project.
Any original music in this album?
Yeah, we have a couple of pieces. Actually, Bob O'Donovan, well, the name of the album came before the tune, so once we had a name, we decided, well, we need a tune to go with it. So we said, Bob, write us a tune now so we can have a title track on the album.
So this is a song that we've been listening to, Bruley?
No, actually, that was the Night Before Larry Got Stretched was the opening piece.
Sorry.
And Bob wrote the Bruley Boys in Paris and the St. John's Mazurka. Those were 2 tunes, the 2 mazurkas, right? And so he wrote those so that we would have a title track for the album. And he made them, it was great, because of the album, you know, the Bruley Boys in Paris, and then the tunes sound very European. And so he did a really good job.
With
they're lovely tunes.
Yeah. The cover of the album.
Yeah, Gerald Squires.
Very, very good friend. He does a magnificent job.
Oh, he's brilliant. We, well, actually, the whole concept of the name was myself and Jerry and Sheila Lynch, my wife, and Gail Squires. We're in Europe on a conference for creativity and madness. And we were sitting in a bar in Paris this night in the Hotel Nico, a huge, big Japanese hotel in Paris. And it was a very plush bar. So myself and Jerry were sitting back having a nightcap in the bar, and we were wondering about, can you imagine how the lads from Bruley, you know, these salt-of-the-earth chaps that they are, sitting here in this bar having a beer, you know, how they'd get along, you know. And we're saying, God, can you imagine the boys in Bruley sitting off here, you know, having a beer? And Jerry says, yes. He says, the Bruley Boys in Paris. I said, my God, what a great name! What a great name for an album. I said, I think we'll call our album that. So we did.
You never know where the names are going to come from.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, myself and Jerry, we went off to Placentia Bay, got Roy and Baxter Worm to take us out in their boat, and we went to Mirasheen Island and went to Bruley and took a bunch of photographs, and Jerry did some sketches, and we came up with that for the album jacket.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Your band has gone through a lot of changes over the years.
Yeah, at one point we used to call it the Tickle Harbour Co-op. Because there was, basically when we played festivals, whoever happened to be around, any straggler musicians that happened to be around that we knew would say, well, join us for the festival. And we were under the impression that probably quality or quantity would cover up for the lack of quality, we thought at the time. But then as the band progressed and you know, certain musicians stayed, certain left, and we have a fabulous lineup in the band now.
What about the label, Pigeon Inlet Productions? Tell us a little bit about
Kelly Russell. That label is a mainstay of traditional music in Newfoundland. I mean, an album like this is not a highly commercial venture, and I mean, Columbia Records are not going to pick up this album and run with it, you know. It's an album that's unique to the people and to the island itself. And Kelly Russell's label, Pigeon Inlet Productions, is a label that deals with that particular type of music. And he's just put out albums of people that no one else would touch and that absolutely need to be recorded. People like Emile Benoit is just an incredible part of the island's culture and the island's music. And so Kelly has taken Emile's records and recorded them, and people like Baxter Worm and accordion and what have you. I mean, without that label, we'd be lost. You know, everyone would be scattering around in certain their own independent little labels and with no direction, you know. And Kelly saves us from that.
So the musical production itself, how much time have you spent on it?
Well,
tell us about it.
From the first concept, it was about, well, our first day in the studio was 2 years ago. Actually, it was 2 years, 6 months. On the 10th of this month, it would have been 2 years and 6 months. And the whole thing starts off with, well, we got to come up with some tunes that haven't been recorded before. You know, we got to pick out music that hasn't been played to death. It has to be unique. You know, we wanted to be fairly obscure. And then we got to figure out, well, what approach are we going to take to it? How are we going to put it all together on the album? You know, and how's it going to be produced? We're going to mesh in synthesizers now. We decide we're going to marry some of the new modern instruments to some of the older traditional instruments. So we use synthesizers, and we had to figure out, well, when we're producing or arranging, well, how are we going to blend these in? And we don't want to go overboard with it and make it get too crazy, but at the same time, you know, you want to have fun with it, and you want it to be lively and up. And
so that's the most time-consuming, I guess, making those decisions?
Yeah, and well, actually, the most time-consuming is the actual physical recording itself, because like when you're playing live, if you make a mistake, it goes by and no one ever hears it again, you know. But when you're recording, if you make a mistake, then it's on the album and it's there forever. It becomes a thorn in your side. So you have to be, you know, every take has to be perfect. I mean, you know, you can do something 20 times, and if it's not perfect, well, you had to do it 21.
And then you have the case where two may think it's great and the other may not think, the others may not think it's great.
This is when it comes down to producers and having final say and final decisions and things like that.
So do you all agree or tend to agree at most times?
Yeah, pretty well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So tomorrow afternoon?
Tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock at Fred's Records.
At Fred's Records.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for dropping by this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And I look forward to hearing the rest of the album.
Great.
We'll be back with more of Newfoundland Today after these messages.